Okay, today I'm going to show you how I cut my arrows and fletch them. Some people say I cheat, but whatever it takes to get arrows going down range. Wouldn't you agree? So, first thing I do, I strip off all the old plastic feathers or vanes off my arrows that I'm going to use for my recurve and longbow, because I use only feather fletchings for my longbow, my recurve. Once you get the feathers or fletchings, pardon me, stripped off, I use a little acetone, wipe it down where the veins used to be. Then I'll take some sandpaper, fine grit, and get the rest of the glue off and kind of rough it up. Make sure you wipe it off, because you don't want any of the carbon dust left on your feathers, on your arrow, because your feathers won't adhere that well. And what I use is what's called fletching tape. I used to use fletching glue, which I do from time to time, but this day and age they come out with better, faster stuff. I use now instead of using the glue with my feather vanes, I use the fletching tape. Let's see if I can find it real quick. But there is something else I use for my blazers and plastic vanes. It's like a super glue. I'm not going to tell you the name of this, but you can pick it up at any archery store, any place that sells archery supplies. And I think Walmart even carries some. I don't know how good the Walmart stuff is, but this stuff that I get from the archery shop works pretty good. Well, once you get that, put it with the camera. This is what I use to cut my arrows with. Just a tabletop saw that I've got screwed down. I've got 2 sets of markings. I don't know if you can see that or not. Right now I've got it set at the 30-inch mark. This is for my recurve and longbow. And that's for my compound, 28-inch mark. I've got a 1x right there, which brings it up high enough with some foam tape on it. 2 screws to keep the arrow straight, keep it from moving on me. Then at the end, I've got a little notch drilled into that wooden peg. That's where I will be putting knock in. Move this wooden block out of the way. If I leave it, it's going to be too high. Set it in between those 2 screws. Set that in there. I don't clamp it down too tight because I want to be able to rotate the arrow. I'm going to see if I can't set this to where you can watch me cut. By the end of October, first part of November, I should have a normal arrow saw. But until then, this is going to work. Might help if I plug it in, eh? Cut it off just smooth. It's square. Now I will take my sandpaper and I'll rough that up a little bit. And one thing I forgot to do. Let's get a Q-tip. Now, what I'm doing is prepping it for the insert. A little bit of acetone. Clean it up. Dry it up. Okay, this is a Go Tip 340. I've got a buddy that sells archery supplies. Pardon me. Like I said, this stuff is just like super glue. Doesn't take a whole lot. All I'm doing is putting a couple drops and moving it around on it. Now when I push the insert in, I'll take and spin it as I'm pushing it. When I get it down, just smack it flush. Then go. There we go. Wipe off the excess. And that looks good. Now, moving it out this way. Figure out how to set this. Now Now, since I've got my arrow shaft prepped, close up the acetone. Set your jig. Sorry, I don't have professional people do my filming for me. This is all self-filmed. Like I said, you set your jig to where you got your cock feather sitting there. A lot of my stuff that I use for archery is homemade or repurposed stuff. In this arrow cut saw, I've got like $9, and that's in this little cutoff saw. Okay, I'll undo the fletching tape, take a little bit out. I'm going to have to cut this one due to the fact it got dirty. Dirty tape won't adhere to nothing. Take your cock vein, and all you do, if I can ever get a hold of it, there we go, at least I thought. And you just stick the fletching tape on, try to get it as straight as you can. Don't worry about having excess hanging off the end, because you can always trim that up. Put it on as straight as you can and keep the air bubbles out. Sorry if I'm not going to be talking too much. That's what you end up with. Then all you do, take a little razor blade knife and just trim it up. This is the most difficult part. It's getting that little plastic film off the tape. And if you can't get it at one end, go to the other. Then I'll take my clamp. I will set my fletching approximately 1 inch up, which will place the vein about an 1.5 inches or so from the end of the knock. You set it on there, flush it up, and push it on. As simple as that. That vein's done. Now, go to the next one. Repeat the process. I used to place my feathers and veins on by eye, no clamps, no nothing. Used to be pretty good at it. As you get older, your hands and your eyes don't want to work the same. So you got to cheat. Like I said, go to the other side if you can't get one side. Using this fletching tape has been a godsend. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off. And start it up after I get the other vein on there and show you how I secure them. Okay, there it is. Pardon me. But the next step to keep the fletchings from ripping off when you shoot them. And what I mean by ripping off, when you let go of your string, your arrow passes the arrow shaft. Sometimes the arrow shaft or the riser will catch your fletching. And rip them off. What I do is I just put a drop of glue on the ends. If I'm doing fletchings for somebody else, friends, family, I try to be as neat as I can, but for me, it doesn't bother me. Cosmetics never did bother me, as long as it works. And right now, all you do is just wait for that glue to dry, and you're ready to start shooting. It doesn't take long for that glue to dry up, maybe 5-10 minutes most. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. Now for my plastic vanes, I use what's called a easy jig. All you do is just take your vanes, your blazers, and you can even use these on feather. You take them, put your cocked feather in the odd colored one, the other two vanes in there, run a bead of glue on them, stick your arrow shaft. See if I got a barrel one in here. Oops. I'll go ahead and use this one. You stick it down in there. And you just close it up on there. You let it set for 15-20 minutes. Your glue's dry. You're ready to shoot. If there's any questions, just leave them in the comments. That's all I've got for you today. Have fun, keep the arrows flying, and be safe.